Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll chant the first 5 shlokas of Bhaja Govindam.
Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Samprapte sannihite kale, nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Mudajahi hidanagama trishnam kuru sadbuddhim manasi vitrishnam. Yallabhase nijakarmopatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. Naristhanabharanabhidesham drishtva magamohavesham. Etan savasadi vikaram manasi vichintaya varam varam. Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tadvajjivitam atishaya chapalam. Vidhi vyadhyabhimana grastam lokam shokahatam cha samastam. Yavadvittoparjana saktaha tavan nija parivaro raktaha. Paschat jivati jarjara dehe vartam kopi na pritchati gehe.
We have seen 2 shlokas so far in this Bhaja Govindam. So the first shloka, he repeats Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja 3 times at the 3 levels of our personality, namely the physical, emotional and intellectual level. We should be reiterating, focusing on the reality, the truth, the essentials of life rather than the non-essentials of life. All our attention is at the moment is upon the material wealth, physical body, mind and intellect. It should shift from all these factors to the Atma, the self. Because samprapte sannihite kale, when the appointed time comes, meaning the death, uncertain. Basically life is extremely uncertain. When, what will happen, you don't know. So therefore, nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. You are trying to memorize these grammar rules, meaning non-essentials. See, language is to communicate your thoughts, your ideas, right? And language is also a medium of expressing culture, So instead of that, if you start getting lost in grammar, while if you can learn the language with perfect grammar, fine. If not, you should be able to communicate. Supposing I talk too deeply using a lot of grammatical construction, the other person may not understand. So idea is to get the thoughts conveyed. So you should give importance to grammar, but not so much so that you are spending all your time in that. Similarly, he's just taking it as an example. Similarly in life, the embellishments have become the priority today. Right? Am I looking beautiful is more important for people than are they really healthy? A lot of people look in terms of how much the boy is earning when they want to give their daughter in marriage, rather than what capacity the boy has vis-a-vis how much money he has today. If tomorrow the job is lost and the boy doesn't have that capacity, the control over the mind is not there. All wealth, whatever it may be, it's gone. Right? So similarly, like that in every facets, you should start focusing on the essentials, the permanent aspects, the reality. Of course, he's talking from the highest level. Don't waste your time in all these essentials and impermanent aspects, start focusing on the permanent aspect. Now, why people are not focusing on the permanent? Generally, the mind gets attracted to wealth and enjoyment. Because primarily, what Advaita philosophy says is, everyone is essentially infinite or complete reality. That being the case, you are ignorant of that fact that you are infinite, complete. So you imagine yourself to be incomplete. And due to that imagination, this imaginary void creates the desires. To fulfill that void, the desires come out, your thoughts run to the world outside. When they are running, it's called desire. And you are constantly interested in acquisition. Acquiring, you get certain ability to buy the objects and contact them and enjoy. So you are all the time interested only in acquisition and enjoyment. Acquisition, enjoyment. Therefore, he addresses these two in sloka number 2 and 3. In sloka number 2, which we did, he addressed acquisition. He says, "O fool, give up your thirst for aggrandizing wealth. O Muda Jahihi Dana Agama Trishnam." He is not against wealth. He is against the thirst for wealth, the craving for wealth. As if wealth is end all and be all of life. As if acquisition is end all and be all of life. It's like you are so much concerned about variety of food, but you have no hunger. Who will eat it? You understand? You don't take care of your body. You go through certain disease. As a result, you don't have hunger. You can't eat, but everything is there. What is the kind of life that you are leading? So he says, thirst should not be there. That craving should not be there. In fact, to the extent you are able to control the craving, to that extent you will be able to acquire also better. It's because of the craving, your mind gets excited. And your mind gets excited, you won't be properly thinking. And as a result, you won't act properly. So that even acquisitions, you can't actually do so much. So therefore he says, "O fool, give up your thirst for aggrandizing wealth." So what do you have to do? Create in your mind the thought of reality. I already explained to you the principle of attachment. The way to lose your attachment towards the lower is by getting attached to the higher. So by creating the thought of reality in the mind, your mind will become slowly free from the thoughts of the world. The preoccupations have to be removed, for which you need to consciously occupy yourself in the spiritual thoughts, the higher aspects of life. So he says, create in your mind the thought of reality instead of this thirst. Slowly, when you do this exercise, the thirst reduces. So instead of thirst, where you are running after wealth, now you will be running into the world to serve. And after having served, whatever comes as a fruit, you accept that as prasad. With that prasad, he says, whatever you gain from your action, content your mind with that wealth obtained. You will be enjoying also. In fact, the fact that you are doing like this, your thoughts will be very much under control. And you will be able to apply yourself better in the world. And you will be getting also good results through that. From that you can fulfill your desires also. And the fact that you are not all the time living only to fulfill your desires, but directing your thoughts towards the higher, the worldly desires also slowly reduce this way when you live. In a way, this is what is called as karma yoga. You understand? So, whatever you gain from your action, content your mind with that wealth obtained. Mind becomes calm. So, this much we have seen. Now, the next one he addresses is enjoyment. Right? And he is talking to the disciples who are all men, male disciples. So, when it comes to enjoyment, he is giving the example of a woman here. You understand? It should not be criticized. A lot of people don't understand this context. So they get into criticisms. Therefore, I am giving this background.
नारीस्तनभरनाभिदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागा मोहावेशम् एतन्मांसवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारम्.
Seeing the bosom and navel of a woman, do not fall a prey to frenzied delusion. Nari stanabhara nabi desham. Nabi means navel. Stanabhara, the bosom of a woman, Nari. Do not fall a prey to frenzied delusion. Moha avesha means frenzied delusion. This is exactly what Pineapple and the Bee poem says in a different way. The sight our foolish heart inflames. That's what he's saying, Drishtva. Drishtva means having seen. Having seen the object of enjoyment, your mind goes gaga. You forget everything. You lose your intellect totally. Verse number 62-63 of chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. What does it say? It talks about the ladder of fall. You remember that two slokas, very important slokas. How does the whole fall start? Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. He says, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaka Kamat Krodot Bijayate Krodat Bhavati Sammohaha Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaha Smriti Bramshat Buddhinashaha Buddhinashat Pranashyati. 62-63 chapter 2. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Vishaya means sense object. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha means when you are mentally thinking of the object. For the mind to be thinking of the object, it should have entered through your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, through the organs of perception. Okay. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Then if you keep on thinking about it, what happens? Sangasteshu Pajayate. Attachment. Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. After attachment, desire. Kamat Krodot Bijayate. Anyone comes in between you and the object of desire? Krodha, anger. Krodat Bhavati Sammohaha. You lose your whole thing. You become deluded completely. You don't know what you're doing. Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaha. Smriti means two interpretations. One is the scriptures. Other is memory. Understand? You lose your memory also. And you lose your whatever knowledge you gain from the scriptures. Smriti Bramshat Buddhi Nashaha. Buddhi, instead of saying, Are, should I do this? Ye sahi hai kya? Aisa nahi puchenge. Ye kaisa I can achieve this? Aisa soch karenge. Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati. When the Buddhi is gone, everything is gone. That's what it means. Same thing here. I'm just connecting it. Right? So, Nari Stanabhara Nabi Deham Drishtva Maga Moha Avesham. Having seen the navel and bosom of a woman. See, like I said, he is taking the example of a woman here because he is talking to the men. If he had spoken to women, he would have given the example of men. Why? Because, first of all, the sense objects are attractive. Because they cater to one or few sense organs. The contact with opposite sex fulfills all the 5 sense organs. That relationship with the opposite sex involves all the 5 senses. You understand? That is why the enjoyment with reference to the opposite sex is considered to be the highest among the sense indulgences. Because all the 5 senses it caters to. Therefore, he takes that example. So he says, when you see the object of your attraction, you become completely mad. Isn't it? Same thing happens, no? You see, buy one, get one free. Okay. You are already having extra clothes in your cupboard. You somehow manage to close the cupboard without it falling down. You understand? But when you see that on the road, buy one, get one free. You understand? Right? So what do? You go mad. The sense, you forget. Already the clothes are there. Out of the clothes that I have, 50% I am not wearing only. Neither am I giving to somebody else. And the cupboard itself is falling down. I mean, it's coming down from the cupboard. And then there's no more place to keep another cupboard. But still, what happens? You forget everything. Na? You forget everything. Especially nowadays you have credit card. And now Google Pay has also come. You don't have to necessarily carry cash. So what do? The sight our foolish heart inflames. We long for pineapples in flames. That's exactly the same thought. Drishtva, having seen. You understand? He's talking about having seen. Once it enters the eyes, big problem. See, Ravana only heard from Surpanaka. Ravana didn't see Sita in one particular interpretation of Ramayana. Surpanaka goes and tells Ravana. You understand? And that's it. He heard and you know how he fell down finally in that story in Ramayana. So that's what he's saying. Drishtva maga moha avesham. Do not fall a prey to the frenzy delusion once you have seen. Both mushkil hai. You should already have some control. Otherwise, if your intellect is not strong, as the senses bring the input, mind gets registered, the senses gets registered in the mind, then if your intellect is not strong, you're finished. This is what is happening to us. You understand? You're finished. So that is why he is saying, Drishtva, maga moha avesham. Do not fall a prey to frenzied delusion. So what you should do? He says, Yetan mamsavi sadhi vikaram. All these are nothing but modifications of flesh and bone. It is a modification of flesh and fat, etc. Thus, reflect well. Manasi vichintaya varam. Thus you reflect well in the mind over and over again. You understand? So, first of all, if you analyze the world is full of sense objects. And if you analyze the personality, individual, the mind is full of desires. And the nature of the mind is what? Extroverted. It will run outside. Because when you do not have the knowledge of the self, we just covered it. You are ignorant due to ignorance of your true nature, which is complete. You think you are incomplete. And as a result of that thought, your mind is running after the world. So mind is naturally running externally. So there is a push from inside. And there is a pull from outside. Sense objects. That's what they do in marketing. Na? What is the difference between marketing and sales? Marketing is making you to get there. By showing you those things 25 times. You keep listening to that product's brand name. Right? And you go and buy that product brand only. Whether you first of all need it or not, you don't analyze. Even if you need it, is that particular brand is what you need? Have you done any analysis? You understand? Therefore, he says, you should do this analysis. Yetan mamsavi sadhi vikaram. This is called pratipaksha bhavana. You understand? This in Sanskrit is called as pratipaksha bhavana. Everything you got to do such analysis, and you should have kept your intellect strong. He is not asking us to do this when you are in front of the object. Not possible. Hota hi nahi. That's why they say when you go in front of Vali in Ramayana, 50% of your power will go to Vali. He had such a boon. Agar if you think in front of the object I'll go on, then I'll decide, I'll think, not possible. Because 50% of your thinking capacity is gone. Then with balance 50%, what you will do? You see, somebody told me this, in a gambling center, they pump up the oxygen level, I believe. You know?
Yeah, so that people longer
Right.
wait.
They pump up the oxygen level, I believe, I don't know.
Okay.
And then loud music and free alcohol. You don't have to pay for it. You understand? I don't know. Food also free, is it? I don't know. All this kind of embellishments. And semi-dark area it is, or fully dark kind of. You understand? And you are not in a position to think. Okay? And as you gamble, supposing you gamble with, let's say, $500. First, initially you don't put 500, na? You put 10, 20 like that. So you would have lost around $50, $60. But suddenly the next $10 that you put, you will get back about $20. You would have won. That you think, now I know how to win. Then you will put another 50, another 50. Finally you will come back with nothing. And I believe there, if supposing you went in your Lamborghini, you can even mortgage your Lamborghini and play. Okay, gamble. Then they will drop you back home. You understand? In their car. Free. I believe so. Okay. So why I'm saying is, when you are there, you cannot think. For that I'm giving all these examples. So don't think in front of the object, I'll go and think. No. So first 25 years of a child's life is what? Fortifying the buddhi. Strengthening the intellect. Not just grasping intelligence. But today the education system has become such that they only gain intelligence, information. You understand? And the world is also made so attractive. So it becomes very difficult if you do not have the intellect. How many phone calls do you get in a day about so much loan has been sanctioned for you? Unbelievable. To me also they call. You understand? Once one fellow called. Our institute's name is Vedanta Institute, Delhi. And there is this big company, Vedanta group, Vedanta group. Now, this fellow thought we are part of that group. And he is calling me. You understand? Sir, is it Vedanta? I said, Vedanta? I said, yes. So he is calling from one of the banks. Some big manager he is there. He said, sir, we want to come and talk to you. We want you to start the account with us. I understood immediately, because nobody will call us for such purpose. You understand? I said, what? You want us to come and start? Are you assuming that we are part of that Vedanta group? He said, yes. I said, we wish we were. You understand? We are not that group. We are Vedanta Institute, Delhi. Immediately he said, I'm sorry, and he kept the phone down. Now, why I'm saying is, so many phone calls, so many attractions. In this world, if you do not have buddhi, it's so difficult to survive. That's why he says, you should think and strengthen your buddhi. Reflection karna padega. What is all these attractions, man? What is all this? They are modifications of flesh and fat, he says. All these are what? 5 elements only. Same 5 elements, in different variety, they have arranged it. And when you contact them, they give instant pleasure. There is so much of research that is being done there, in that field, to attract you. You understand? See, children, they don't have intellect, strong intellect, right? So, there is so much of sugar that is there in certain food that they immediately get addicted to that. You understand? And there is tremendous money is being pumped in for research of such products. How to make it so attractive. You understand? And it will be cheaper also. So, there are people sitting and doing such analysis to make you come to them. That's what I'm explaining. You understand? And here you are with unprepared mind and intellect, you get there. Now what will happen to you?
Trapped.
You will be finished. This is what is happening in today's world. See, of course, that will be a different subject if you see. Before Manmohan Singh ji becoming our finance minister, the economy was not opened here. Understand? So, how many cars you had? Ambassador, Fiat, Premier Padmini, Contessa and all that. And then that, what do you call this? Maruti came little later. Maruti came little later. And no internet, no nothing. Except for a few people who had travelled abroad, they had no clue about the other cars. Only a few things you see here and there in the sports magazine or some of these things. Isn't it? Not live channels were also not there. Very few access was there. Few people only had access. Now once the market is opened up, internet has come, now even an ordinary fellow knows about everything. Right? Now it's become even more difficult because drishtva ho gaya. Samajh rahe na? Why I am giving all these examples? Drishtva, having seen. It's already gone, already done. Very difficult. It develops greed. Desire becomes greed. You cannot thereafter control it. So therefore, you must strengthen your intellect with reflection. What is all this that is attracting me? End of the day, what is this? This is nothing but modification. You played with certain toys. The toys that your children, grandchildren play today, you never had such toys when you were playing. Right? What is all this? It's a different permutation combination. And it is all very attractive. Are you with me? And they give you instant pleasure. The sooner they come, the sooner they go. And moreover, they make you get addicted. Especially in the world today, drugs is becoming a very big headache. In Punjab and Tamil Nadu also now, where I come from. Yeah, recently they have caught hold of.
A coastline.
It's nothing to do with coastline or something. I don't know what is the reason. Recently also they have caught hold of somebody who's been doing some kind of a drug trafficking for the last 1.5, 2 years.
2,000 crores.
Something like that. So the point is, I hear from so many people in Tamil Nadu that everywhere in colleges and schools area and in the places where they do party, all these are very freely available now. It's all discussed in the YouTube itself, if you see. You understand? How much of it is truth, I don't know. Must be true. They're discussing all this. So the point is,
The government was knowing this is happening.
they may be doing things to control, but I don't know how difficult or easy it is for them. So I'm not getting into that. But what I'm trying to say is, it's tough.
Yeah.
You know, the moment you take it, it gives you such high that you instantly get addicted to it. And to get out of it is not easy. Are you with me? It's like Abhimanyu getting in, not able to come out of Chakravyuga. It's a very tough thing, you know. So that is why he says it is a modification of flesh and fat and bone. This is with reference to the woman example that he is giving. But it is not only with the woman, with everything. The object of enjoyment ke liye is giving one example. Especially for a man, he is giving this. If it's a woman, he would have given man. That's about it. But it is so difficult. Therefore, he says, reflect. What is this? First of all, it is nothing but modification of same 5 elements in different permutation combination. Right? And secondly, it is attractive, gives only instant joy. The sooner the joy comes, the sooner it goes. Right? And it has the tendency to make the mind get completely addicted. I know one boy in Chennai, from deep south, from somewhere near Pollachi, which is near Coimbatore in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. He got admission in one of the best colleges in Tamil Nadu. In Chennai, it's called Gindi Engineering College, Anna University. So he was staying somewhere where I used to stay, in Chennai. 1 year he was studying, second year the college gave him a break, called the mother and told, listen, this fellow is addicted to mobile phones. While the class is happening, he is sitting and watching the mobile phone. He is not able to control. So he needed psychiatric treatment. I don't know what happened after 1 year, whether he joined or not. This is what happens. It makes you slave. See, mind craves for what it does not have, gets addicted to what it has. Please understand this. Mind craves for what it does not have and gets attached and addicted to what it has. This is the nature of the mind. And if we keep on pampering without strengthening the buddhi, we will be completely finished. That's why he says, reflect well in your mind over and over again. Why over and over again? Varam varam. Because by constant thinking only you develop attachment and addiction. By constantly, continuously thinking about it, you develop attachment. So now if you want to get out of that attachment, you should do constant, continuous thinking positively. See, please understand this. How our vasana is formed, how our attachment formed, how do we get addicted? All this happens in an unaware position. When desire propels you to go and contact the object, you are doing it in a state of non-awareness. First of all, like he says, drishtva. Once you see, you lose your buddhi, you lose your awareness. मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, सब कुछ भूल जाएंगे आप. Who you are, you forget. The way people behave after drinking, you understand? They make a fool of themselves, isn't it? So basically, your awareness is gone, and then you are completely trapped. So how is attachment formed? By constant, continuous, unintelligent, unaware thinking and contacting. Now, how do you get out of it? By constant, continuous, intelligent thought flow. So, two things we have to do. In the previous shloka, he said, create the thought of reality in your mind. Both shlokas have to be taken together. Please understand. Don't take it separately. In the previous shloka, what did he say? Create in your mind the thought of reality. Having spent some time thinking about the reality, also simultaneously think about the frivolous nature of the world and the addictive nature of the world. When you do this simultaneously, then only you develop vairagya and viveka. Okay. Both has to be done together. While you contemplate upon the higher and try to create the thought of reality in your head, you also simultaneously think of the impermanent, frivolous, trivial nature of the world and its ability to bind you, ability to make you function improperly, not properly. When you reflect that, then the Gita says, Sattvic intellect is that which fears what ought to be feared and fears not what ought not to be feared. So then you will develop that fear. Fear means it's not the fear in that sense. You know, this is something I should not touch. Or how much I can touch, when I can touch, all that. That's why you have to take both into consideration. Previous shloka, create the thought of reality in your mind. Here, reflect over and over again that these are all nothing but modification of flesh and bone. That's all it is. You understand? If you say that the beautiful hair of that woman is attracting me, and supposing you find out later on that it is a wig, and she takes it out, and you say beautiful row of teeth she has got. Supposing you know this is false and she takes it out. You will not be able to, you will not be attracted. So when you really think what is attracting, what is actually attracting? What is actually attracting is the kutastha. The one which is putting it together and making it alive. You won't get attracted to the dead body. When the skin is tight, when they are young, you get attracted. When the skin becomes loose, slowly as the thing is getting deteriorated, it loses the capacity to reflect the self. So please understand, when a fruit that you get it from the tree, as soon as you get it, you will see it's fresh. But slowly, as time passes, it will become slowly losing its freshness. Isn't it? Then it's not attractive. You will throw it. Starts giving foul smell also. Same thing with reference to the body. Right? So as the body starts becoming older and older and older, and even the subtle body starts getting slowed down, it loses the capacity to reflect the self fully.
The self, which is the capital S.
Yes, Atma. Atma fully. So, when you see something young, why it is attracting? Actually, the self is what is attracting. But you are fooled to believe, that it is the objects, the flesh and fat that is attracting. See, the skin is so smooth. You remove the skin. Inside, what all is there? You sometimes see, in the shops, they have skinned the goat and all. You see what is same thing with reference to our body also. And if you have seen it, when they cut the fish or the goat or whatever, they remove the dirt from the intestine. That's what you are seeing. That's what you are getting attracted to. That's what he's asking you to reflect. You understand? That's what he's asking you to reflect. So outside it looks fine, but inside, like a coconut. When you see a full coconut, outside it's very nice, green. Inside, full of coir. Then hard shell. Then the kernel. Like that, deep inside is the real self. The kernel is the real self. But upar layers jo hai, you think that is what is attractive, and therefore you are running after that. That he is explaining. Actually speaking, what is really attracting you? You do this test. When anything is attractive, you just pause and say, listen, what is really attracting me? What is that which is attracting me? That's why I'm explaining. Why the same body is not attractive later? Because it's lost its capacity to reflect the self. See, in the dead body also, you must remember the fundamentals clearly. In the dead body also, what do we say in Advaita Vedanta? In dead body also there is Atma. Meaning the consciousness is all pervading, na? So therefore in the dead body also Atma should be there. Consciousness should be there. Then why it is not reflected? Because the subtle body is not there. Subtle body has left the body, na? What is the definition of death we discussed when we did Tattva Bodha?
And the prana leaves.
I explained it, no, with a definition. Death is transference of subtle body along with causal body, the vasanas, from one gross body to another gross body in the medium of consciousness. Repeat it with me. Death is transference of subtle body and the causal body from one gross body to another gross body in the medium of consciousness. Okay? So when the subtle body has moved, the body has lost its capacity to reflect the consciousness. Therefore, it's not attractive anymore. So really speaking, what is really attracting you? It is the Atma that is attracting you. But you are fooled to believe that this reflecting medium, this body is attractive. That's all he says.
How does the Atma become weaker?
Atma doesn't become weak. I told you the reflecting medium. The nature of the five elements,
They become weak.
which they go on deteriorating, na? as the time passes. They are subject to time.
The reflecting medium becomes weaker.
So what happens? If you do little bit exercise and all that, it will come little more. That's all. Otherwise soon it will become.
So when you say you get a good vibe, it's the subtle body you're talking about.
One is that. It's the subtle body through which the Atma is getting reflected. Na? So the more and more you see such attractions are coming, you think you are attracted by that physical personality, by that thoughts. But it is actually the Atma. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha kena prana pratama praitiyuktaha keneshitam vachamimam vadanti chakshu shrotram kaudevo yunaktihi. You remember Kena Upanishad, first question. The student is asking, Kena ishitam patati preshitam manaha. Basically is asking, what is connecting the gross body, the subtle body, the pranas and everything? Seems kavu devaha. There seems to be some deva, dyotaha, the illuminating principle. Wo kya hai bhai? He's asking. See, your physical body is made up of 5 elements. You see earth, water, fire, air, space. Uska individually, does it have the sentient capacity? Is it sentient? No. Now, they are sentient now. You understand? They are sentient. Your eyeballs are moving here and there. Right? You are seeing. You are smiling. All this is, it becomes sentient. Subtle body is made up of 5 subtle elements. We discussed all that. Tattva Bodha. So 5 subtle elements, they are also insentient. Elements are per se insentient. Okay? Subtle body is insentient. Gross body is insentient. But when the self reflects through them, they gain the sentiency. So that is why you are attracted, na? So what is it making it become sentient? The Atma. But you attribute it to these things. That is why you are running after it. I'll explain this in another way. I explained this before also, but again and again I'll reiterate it. You see an object, you want it, desire has come. Before you saw that object and desire with reference to that object came, you were calm, peaceful, happy. But now that you saw that object, I want it. Abhi kya ho gaya? Agitation shuru ho gaya because of the desire. Okay. Now, example I am giving. X wanted cigarette. I give him chocolate. Will he become okay? He has to get that object of cigarette because he thinks the joy is there in that only, because he has desire for that only. So I give him cigarette. When I give cigarette, what happens when he smokes? Happy, joy, santusht ho jata hai. But he thinks it's coming from cigarette. But the same cigarette I give to you, you run away from there. Why? You don't have desire for it. It gives you agitation if you smoke. So now he has a desire. Before desire coming in, he was happy. Okay? He was peaceful. The moment desire came, agitation came. Then I have to give him the object of desire. When I give the object of desire, what happens? It removes the agitation created by the very desire for that object. I repeat. The object contacted removes the agitation created by the very desire for that object. Then temporarily you come in contact with the happiness which you were having before. Again the thought of cigarette comes. So you think object only bring me joy. But actually what brought you joy? Not the object. The happiness which is within you. But you think it is outside. So you keep running. This is the moha avesham. If you reflect, then you understand. Are you with me? So like that, anything that is attracting, thoda sa think. But you can't do the thinking there. You should have done that before. You should be ready. You understand? Like all the cricketers or any people, if you see, they have already done the practices. So they are ready. What kind of ball comes, how to play. Yorker comes, how to play. Bouncer comes, how to play. Good length ball, how to play. In cutter, out cutter, how to play. They have done all that experiments. They are ready, equipped. Bhaja Govindam is asking you to be ready. That's all. You understand? So that's why he says, reflect well in your mind over and over again. बिना wall practice, tennis court को मत जाओ. Wall practice करो, फिर जाओ. That's what Bhaja Govindam is telling us. Do the wall practice and then go. Without wall practice, don't go to play tennis. You understand? So that is why he says, reflect well over and over again in your mind. See, again, when he says this, it is not the fault of the object also. It's the nature of the object. You understand what it is? It is your mind because of which you fall. Therefore, you need to be strong inside.
That's why that book is called Fall of the Intellect.
Yes, exactly. Fall of the Human Intellect. Very important book written by Swamiji, Simple book, but very important book. Especially, all the children should read that. We should also read, but definitely children. See, you can't, generally what happens is we blame the world for it. Right? But one is, of course, you try to give the best world as best as possible. Like you said, what is the government doing? And I talked about drugs and all. Of course, the government should be doing something. They may be doing something. We don't know. In spite of their efforts, maybe they're not able to fully stop it. It's difficult. But end of the day, that is why our intellect being strong is very, very important. There is going to be peer pressure. That is going to be there forever. If you are not strong, you will fall for it. If you are strong, you won't fall for it. That is why he says you reflect over and over again in your mind. Because the problem is not outside for you to fix it outside. The problem is inside. You got to fix it here. We don't do that, na? We try to fix the problem outside. While fixing the problem outside to some extent helps. If there are laws and government agencies are working very powerfully in these areas, it will control. But then one needs to be also having strong buddhi, intellect. That's why he says, reflect over and over again. Do this analysis and strengthen the intellect. Intellect gets strong by doing exercise. By exercising your buddhi, intellect, it becomes strong. So he says, varam varam. Because the thing is, in spite of you knowing about all this, you will still fall. You see, I know few doctors, especially I know one doctor who is an oncologist, who is addicted to cigarette. Oncologist. Do you have to tell him how harm the cigarettes are? Another doctor whom I don't know personally, but I know about him, he is also addicted to cigarette, but he is a heart specialist. Do you have to go and tell them how bad it is for the heart? They know it more than you and me. In spite of it, the mind is so addicted, it's so difficult, so stressful. Duryodhana says this, I believe, in Mahabharata. He says, I know what is right, I know what is wrong. Yet I am not able to bring myself to avoid myself doing what is wrong and bring myself to do what is right. This is the problem. He admitted openly. We are not admitting. You find out, everybody, or most of the guys who are addicted to anything, it could be for money, it could be for shopping, it could be anything, they won't admit. When I want, I can stop it. I know how to control it. I can do it. Somebody said, quitting cigarette is easiest. I've done it many times. Very easy to quit cigarette. I've done it many times. You understand? In other words, mind is very powerful. Mind is very, very powerful. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is asking Sri Krishna in the 6th chapter, meditation chapter. He's saying, Hare Sri Krishna, you think it's easy to control this mind, which is of the nature? He says 4 words he uses. Chanchalam hi manakritva pramati balavadridam. Arjuna is using these 4 words. What are the words? Chanchalam, pramati, balavadridam. Chanchalam means restless, fidgety. Pramati means turbulent. Mat, you know mat, no? Mat is the word churning instrument, which you use to churn the buttermilk and all. So, mat, from that comes pramati, turbulent. Then balavat, strong. Dridam, obstinate. He uses 4 adjectives for the mind. Who? Arjuna. Chanchalam hi manakritva pramati balavadridam. He says. This mind is restless. Chanchalam. Understand? It'll keep on jumping. When you don't have it, it wants it. Once you have it, it wants something else. Something else. Keeps jumping. Until you get it, it's so turbulent. You're not able to think properly. Churning is happening within you. So disturbed. You keep telling. Sometimes, when people get disturbed, they'll be talking alone. They argue with somebody, and that other fellow went. After argument, that fellow went. You come back home. That fellow, you think, you are going on talking. All alone. What is this? Pramati. You are not even aware that there is actually nobody. I'll finish that. What is he thinking of himself? You are going on talking like this. This is called pramati. Balavat. Mind is so strong that it sticks to that object obstinately. Obstinately. Till it gets it, it won't leave. Till you get it and destroy, you won't leave it. Till you lose that last penny in that gambling, you won't leave it. That's how mind works. So you must understand all this when you're reading this. Chanchalam hi manakritva balavat pramati dridam. Pramati balavat dridam. It's too strong. Therefore, you should simultaneously strengthen your buddhi. By what? Creating the thought of reality, studying the scriptures, strengthening the intellect, subtilizing. See, why intellect when you develop? You will develop intellect when you exercise intellect. Supposing every day there is a lot of analysis going on in an organization, your company, this thing, that thing. There also you are using your buddhi, thinking. You are strengthening the buddhi. But are you subtilizing it? No. But when you are analyzing about the higher, दोनों होता है क्या? वो subtilize भी हो जाता है, pure भी हो जाता है, strong भी हो जाता है. समझ रहे ना? That's why we say scripture. Strengthening the intellect is like exercising your muscles. If you exercise the intellect, you will strengthen it by constantly questioning, thinking. So if you question and think the worldly things, also you are strengthening the intellect, no doubt. But it's still in the realm of the world, amongst the object. But here you are thinking about the higher. So it becomes more and more subtle. The mind also becomes more and more pure. And also it becomes strong. That's the advantage of creating the thought of reality in your mind. You understand? There's a bhajan, no? Ram se bada Ram Naam. Somebody says there's a story where Lord Rama and Hanumanji had a fight, apparently. And Hanumanji defeated Lord Ram. He tied him up with the Ram Naam. The story says like that. What are they trying to say? Why Ram Naam is more powerful than Ram?
Devotion.
Ram is a form. Ram Naam is sound, which is subtler, and it is the mantra. It is the thought. You understand? That is even more powerful. Ram se bada Ram Nam. So, in other words, the more and more we reflect over the higher, we strengthen the inside, then if the outside is better, conducive, very good. If not also, it can't affect you. So you should do this pratipaksha bhavana about the world. You must understand. That's why Swami Ramtirtha beautifully says in one line, iron and gold can buy iron and gold. So, can these sense objects really give me happiness? No. But on the contrary, I will get neutralized and I will get addicted to it. I will not be able to get out of it. Without it, I will feel miserable. With it, I won't be feeling happy. This is the stage I will get into. ये सब आप अगर सोचेंगे ना, then you do not want to fall into that. So to do that, you need to reflect with your own past experience and other people's experience that you are observing. In Ashtavakra Gita, he says, a wise man reflects, learns from other people's experience. You find out what has happened to all these people who sold themselves, meaning their entire life was pledged for building these things. Finally, what happened? Who won? The elements only won. You go under the element only, finally. All the 5 elements have to go back and merge with 5 elements. So then, when I live, how do I want to lead my life? These kind of questions you will start asking. When you are doing this, what is actually happening? You are going behind your life and driving it. Like you are sitting in the car and driving the car, you will be taking control over your life. If not, the objects, the beings, the temptations, everything is pulling you, pushing you, and you are torn in between. Control. Therefore, he says, be careful. The sense objects are very powerful. First of all, do not take them for granted. Do not take them for granted. You know, sage Vishwamitra is very famous for doing his tapas so vigorously and also falling. Falling for temptations. Every now and then. One example is Menaka. You understand? Menaka came and danced. See, what happens is, anybody who does tapasya and able to gain control over the mind will become the next Indra. So Indra gets agitated because his seat is also not permanent. You understand? So to preserve his seat, he sends either Ramba, Menaka, Urvashi or Tilottama, 4 of them. You understand? So like that he sent Menaka and apparently Vishwamitra fell for her. This is what everybody says. But our Swamiji, Swami Guruji says, Vishwamitra did not fall. He allowed himself to fall to educate us. He says. He could have taken care of 25,000 Menakas with his tapas. You know. But then he purposely allowed himself to fall to educate us. Itna tapas karne ke baad bhi not easy. You see now in the world, every now and then you will hear these scams, especially financial scams from the, fund houses. Bank interest will be 7% or 8%. Maximum mutual fund and all that may give 12, 15. So what they say, 12 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 gram gold plus this thing, plus karke, they attract all these small. And if you go to the bank and all, you have to give documents and all. Here they say, koi document nahi chahiye. So, document bhi nahi chahiye. Or as soon as you give the deposit money, 2 grams gold coin, haath mein hai. You understand? You fall for all that, and all these people, they go and give their money and come back with 1 certificate and 2 gram gold. That's all they'll have finally. They'll never get that money back. But why they fell? Do you get it? So don't take the attractions lightly. The power of Maya. You understand? So when you begin to understand this, slowly, then you will have the concept which I explained to you in one of the classes called as delayed gratification. And the delayed gratification concept is not alien to us. In fact, it is alien to them, to the other countries. It's very much our concept. In the house, I'm sure this is the same thing in North India and South India. When there is ritual, puja, Ganesh Chaturthi, Ram Navami, or Krishna Janmashtami, all these things, when you're doing puja, you make food at home. You would have made sweets or you would have bought it from outside. And then you may be really hungry because to get all these things ready takes time, but you won't eat it. Till you offer it to Bhagavan, all of you sit and do puja. Right? After the puja is over, Om Jai Jagadish Hare, that goes for another 7-8 minutes. Understand? If one or two people in the house gets more excited, another 2 more minutes they'll sing that. You understand? So you are already hungry. You are saying, Arey Baba, thoda jaldi karo, jaldi. But what is happening? The mind is, what you are training the mind? What are you training? Delayed gratification. Swamiji says, when during his tapasya days, he was in Chimya mission, in Powai. There apparently, after lunch at 12 o'clock, they have evening tea and maybe dinner little early, by 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I don't know what time. That was a very light dinner. Then again next day morning lunch is only at 12 o'clock. Morning maybe they had one small cup of tea. And in between you are doing a lot of work. Your exercises, work, yoga, sab kuch karke, you are really famished. You are really looking forward to eat. So what happens, I believe, is when the lunch time comes, all of them are sitting down. The plate is kept in front of you and food is served. You are really hungry. Nice aroma you are getting. Food is looking delicious, You have to chant the entire 15th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 20 shlokas. Not very fast, in the proper meter. Everybody chants the 15th chapter fully. Oh, maybe 10 minutes hoga shayad. Then only they eat. What is all this? What is this exercise? This exercise is what? Delayed gratification. Strengthening your intellect. Bringing the control over the mind. Are you with me? This rituals and all is slowly we are losing. All this we are losing. But that's what he's saying. Create the thought of reality and also do simultaneously these kind of reflections. So when you lead such a lifestyle, then you are not against the sense objects.
Because you're not in control of them.
He is only saying, here you see, do not fall a prey to the moha avesham, frenzied delusion. He is not saying don't contact. Vedanta is never against contact. Vedanta is never against earning money. Are you with me? So therefore, if you really understand what Adi Shankara is trying to teach, it's extremely practical and important, essential. So, understand shloka number 1, 2, 3. Now combine everything together, you will get the big picture. What Adi Shankara is trying to teach us, how we should live. Instead of that, we are going on collecting all the non-essentials. How is it going to help you? Have you memorized Bhagavad Gita? Do you know the entire 31 slokas of the Bhaja Govindam fully memorized or not? Okay, if you know it, fine. If you don't know also, doesn't matter. Are you living it? That is what matters.
Yeah.
Essential, kya hai? You understand? So therefore he says, do not fall a prey to the frenzied delusion. They are all nothing but modification only. Behind the modifications, there is something which cannot be modified, which doesn't go through any modifications. That is the reality. Therefore he says, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja. So when you do this, you will develop perfect Viveka will develop tremendous Vairagya. Then you will have control over it. This is what is explained to us in that symbolism of Ganeshji. In front, Ganeshji represents a man of perfection, self-realized soul. In front of Ganeshji, they on a plate, lot of modak, laddus, sweets. Next to that is the rat, which is Ganeshji's vahan, vehicle. Rat represents your mind, the greed. Rat is very, very greedy animal.
And hoarder.
Hoards. Because it's so greedy, it keeps hoarding and it forgets where it hoarded. You understand? So much if you hoard, you will forget. Na? So that is what rat is. Such a rat is looking up to Ganeshji. Do I have the permission to eat this laddu? So nothing wrong in eating the laddu. But is the rat consulting Ganeshji and eating or eating it on its own? Are you with me? Therefore, he says, do the reflection. What it does. And nowadays, if you see, there's so much of awareness videos in the YouTube and all. What this food does, what excessive protein does, what fat does, what sugar does. Now people have become more aware. They understand what is it, how it is made. You know. See a simple thing. Like if you have the habit of reading the things that is printed when you buy a cool drink, soft drink, when you buy, just read, you see. What? So much gram of sugar for this small bottle of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whatever drink it may be. I'm not talking about the brand per se. My God. Should I need it? And then in the morning or on the treadmill, 1 hour, how much you burn? 350 calories. And here, 350 calories. One Pepsi can, one Coke can, one Fanta, whatever it may be. So you will think, na, see, what I'm saying is, just giving this as an example. Then you say, yaar, do I need to do this? So, I am not just paying that, I don't know how much it costs nowadays, this Pepsi and all. I'm not paying by that, I'm paying 1 hour of my effort. Plus that money. To afford that. Now you decide whether you want to do it or not. So, why I'm saying is, the moment you do proper reflection and you also have a higher thoughts and direction, then only you'll be able to control. And now come to the another important point. Only and only such a person enjoys. This is the beauty. Other fellow who is having frenzied delusion is not really enjoying. Why?
Because it's so temporary, it's oscillating between.
Let's say somebody is distributing gulab jamuns. Kala jamun, the dry one. You understand? You are saying, I must get it, and you are running. And only if you finish one, the second one they'll give. So you are swallowing. Another fellow says, it doesn't matter. Let me eat, bite by bite, with awareness.
And enjoy it.
Who is enjoying more?
Second.
So only when you control your frenzied delusion, you actually enjoy. Only when you control the craving for wealth, you will actually be able to acquire. So Adi Shankara is actually not against acquisition and enjoyment. Adi Shankara is teaching you how to acquire and enjoy. And this way, when you acquire and enjoy, you will also rise above them. Do you get it? You will also rise above them. So, this is what our scriptures do. They teach us how to live life and rise above them also. How you can beautifully grow out of Grahastha and move to Vanaprasth and Sannyas. So really speaking, unless and until you control your mind, you cannot acquire, you cannot enjoy. Swamiji says, only 2 fellows really enjoy what others have acquired.
The Swamis and the
Son-in-law. You know, it happens, right? Sometimes when I go for my lectures also, people say, sir, we have one bungalow there, a guest house. Please stay there. So 1 week I am staying there, enjoying. When did you go? Where is the time, Swamiji? 5 years ago I went. You understand? So they ask, sir, Swamiji, I hope everything is fine. But they've never seen it. 5 years. So,
Caretakers also enjoy of these properties.
so the point is, when you when you superficially read these slokas, it looks as if it's only purely talking about Vairagya. It is talking about Vairagya, it's talking about giving Viveka and making you enjoy. The technique of living is embedded here. That is what Isavasya Upanishad says, no? Isavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magrita kasya sudha. That sloka, we have not done Isavasya here. There, first sloka, it says, how to enjoy. May you renounce and enjoy, he says. You renounce and enjoy. So when we understand this, then we know how to enjoy, at the same time not become bound by that enjoyment. How to be free and be enjoying. That's what he teaches. Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyairva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yadhyad Sakalam Parasmai Narayana Yeti Samarpayami.